Coming up on 21st and Prime, NBA says smoke them if you got them. CEO of Barstool Sports, Erika Nardini, she joined us, and it's time for a blast from the past.
Yo, nephew, hand me that Barstool. You know what it is, and for what it's worth, you can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline. You know what it is, and for what it's worth, you can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline.
Welcome to 21st and Prime, and my co-host, my dear friend, Jamie.
Let's get right into it. Now, you are a guy, so this is well documented for history's sake. You've never drank. You've never smoked.
Never.
Okay. And you have
Never been high.
And never been high.
But I've had several surgeries on different parts of my body that they did put me under on that ooh-wee.
That ooh-wee?
Yeah.
So you understand what that ooh-wee feels like?
I do.
You understand?
I do.
So the NBA is pretty much, I think they're kind of doing away with their marijuana, their THC. Well, first of all, where are you, Coach, with others? Not you, because to each his own to a certain extent. Where are you in that space?
That's a tough one because I'm not with it.
It's legal in states now, just so you know, and more people
die
die from alcohol.
It ain't legal in my locker room.
Right. But the NBA is basically pretty much saying
they're not testing for it.
That makes it
because
legal.
They know
right.
Probably the entirety, except for a few. Mm-hmm. Probably I would say 75%.
If not more.
Yeah.
Are But what
active.
This is a very tricky subject because, and let me preface this by saying, number one, that alcohol kills. When's the last time?
I'm not with that.
No.
I'm not with this argument.
No, it's not about an argument.
No, this is not a good argument.
It's not an argument. I'm setting. There's a more.
Alcohol kills.
Alcohol kills.
The overindulgence of anything is detrimental.
Fair. The Bible says do nothing to excess. But my point in setting that part of it up has to do with people make judgments.
Cars.
Right. But again,
everybody driving.
I want to see the headline that says dude was high on weed and that's why something happened. That's my point.
So you defend it?
No, I defend it because I think that there's science.
Is there a reason?
There's science.
I don't want no science. Is there a reason?
Oh, well,
is there a reason why you're defending?
Oh, I have no problem with it. I'm a THC man myself.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I know that. No, I'm sorry.
It's funny what you find
is that
out on 21st.
Well, I was just saying, are you wondering why you saw me out in the field?
No, I'm just wondering why you took
you wonder
why you took the four-wheeler out into the other
pasture
and you was walking out there enjoying.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I'm always here, Joy. That's my baby girl, Joy. Yeah. But I guess my point is that when you ask that question, that there's a hypocrisy that's just a whole nother conversation.
There's a why. See, with everything you do in life, it has to be a why.
Mm-hmm. Well, why is the NBA?
It has to be a because.
So what's the why for the NBA in making this decision?
Many persons in the NBA that are no longer in the NBA, former players, they own. I don't know if you call them labs or
no, they're gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Yes, I'll remember the name of it. But they actually have farms that they raise.
Yes.
So they're growers
and
they have dispensaries.
They're advocates.
Yes. And so you think that is the reason why? Or could the NBA, as they always, let's say something about the NBA, and I know the NFL guys are going to,
These guys speak very intelligently about
the therapeutic benefit.
The why.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm asking, why does a 18 to 21-year-old or 22, 24-year-old need therapy in that aspect at the collegiate level?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they do need it because of the anxiety. I think that the stage that we're on now.
So that means we just gonna roll up a fat one in class when we have anxiety.
No. There's a place for whatever. My only point is that in this day and age, because see, there's a different. You mentioned the word why. There are a lot of different whys. Ask that kid. I'm not taking a shot at you. I'm saying ask the parent who's got a child who suffers from seizures. And what the therapeutic benefit of THC has done for them.
Okay.
You know, so there's that why there. Then there is, I'll pull the Ricky Williams why. So
Now you got that.
No.
That's not a good example.
No, it is.
Ricky was sitting in a shower with a helmet on. He lost me right there.
Why? No, stop.
He was sitting in a shower with a helmet on.
And let me finish why he was
doing an
it.
interview.
Because he was diagnosed clinically. You're making my point. He was diagnosed clinically with anxiety issues, and that's what because it's not a fat one. You're calling a fat one. What it is that the medical.
Call it a fat one.
Yes, but that's not what.
So it's a different one.
No.
Is it a different?
Well, there are different
ingredients
yes.
in
There's all kinds of different strains.
I don't know. I've never partaken. That's what I'm trying to be educated.
Yeah, right. And what I'm saying to you is,
all I know is I'm not having a kid walk in my meeting with the stench of that fat one. It ain't happening.
That
ain't gonna happen.
I understand that.
It ain't gonna happen.
But the NBA. But I want to get back to the Ricky ring because that's exactly why. In other words, here you have a 20-something-year-old man who had anxiety issues that was documented and nobody knew. So on the outside, and you have children, on the outside it was funny and why he did it. That helmet, and if you ask him, was his protection. He needed something.
He needed a helmet and protection when he went and got the check.
Well, no, but that's because they didn't stick a mic in his face when they got the check. He just went and got the check.
Yes, they did.
When he went and got his check.
Yeah, they wanted to know why. Yeah.
Stop it.
Why you deserve
Stop it.
Yes, they
Stop
did.
it. What?
James, stop.
No, they didn't win. No, because the media was the only time. He didn't have to.
A lot of folks can't. If you want the fat one, man, take the fat one. If it makes you feel better, it makes you feel better. But don't try to say I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with life in itself. Life in itself is tremendous.
Why are we not taking salt pills anymore when we took them as a kid? Because what you learned as
who took some salt pills as a kid?
When we were playing, okay, so I'm a little older than you then.
When I take no salt pills, who's giving you salt pills as a kid?
When we were playing football in high school,
we ate a candy bar at halftime. How you get from a candy bar to a salt
pill?
You're
too young. That's because you're too young.
Yellow
salt pills. Look it up.
They ain't never took no salt pills.
You didn't, but because that was what they diagnosed you needed to put the sodium in.
Who diagnosed us? Some fool said, hey, like right now they eat pickles.
That was the standard of the day.
I saw one of the kids eating a pickle at halftime. Where you get that from? I said, dog, where you get that from? Who said the pickle juice or whatever is going to give you more energy? I ain't never seen Jerry Rice say, ooh, boy, if it weren't for that pickle juice at halftime, I wouldn't have did what I did to the Hall of Fame. I watch the Hall of Fame every year. Right. I've been there. Right. I have not once seen nobody say, I made it here for the thanks of this pickle juice or that fat one. Never.
But that didn't mean the salt wasn't prescribed. That didn't mean the person who read what they read about what pickle juice would do. I like that face.
You know somebody do like that? You know it. I can't say what I want to say. But when I do like this, what am I saying?
Please. There's something with a word.
I ain't saying please.
No, at the end of it, something please.
Yeah, true.
I said something. But see, again,
James, stop.
No. Everything evolves. Science and sports has evolved.
It's time,
you didn't even stretch. Think about this. You never stretched. Do people know you never stretched ever? And you ran laps to warm up.
Cheetah stretch before he go get his spray. We grew up on Animal Kingdom, right? Wild Kingdom. Have we ever seen a cheetah stretch before he go get his spray?
No.
That was a cheetah.
But you were the only one. Everyone else in the league was stretching before you jogged to warm up. To warm
this car up.
Right.
I had to warm that
but
67
that was you.
up. I just had to warm that 67
but again,
up.
As time goes on, we learn.
I'm not going to have the justification. You're
not
never going to give me the justification of that fat one. If that's what you want to do, God bless you. It may be good for you. It may be
correct.
You may give me examples that is cool and everything.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with, from that standpoint, and I think what you're seeing is that there are a multitude of reasons why people choose to use, and I use the word THC. You call it a fat one.
That's what it is. What is,
well, that's but see, you could take it in oil. You could,
oil.
Yeah, they dispense it. These everybody ain't smoking. They make an oil out. They press an oil out of it, just like you press a grape. They press an oil out of it. There's oral. No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. evolution. The whole key to it is what is the therapeutic benefit of the THC? That's what the conversation
I
is.
just want you to be just as passionate
Yes.
about all the other subjects. For some strange reason, you are very passionate.
I'm a scientist.
About, ain't no scientist. You are very passionate
I'm a
about this
scientist.
here subject.
I'm a scientist.
This here, you are very passionate.
I'm
about.
just saying.
Okay.
I just understand the process.
Okay.
But I also understand, and that's what the league is recognizing, is that they have.
You come home
Yeah.
from doing one of these wonderful podcasts and doing all your scientific and your therapeutic work, and when you walk in the house and you smell some therapy going on in your house with little Jamie, I want you to have the same passion.
Well, thanks to you, Jamie will not be drinking or smoking thanks to Uncle Dion.
Amen.
And that is amen to that, as many others. But I still.
We're not condemning people.
No, sure. We just have a
to
conversation.
each his own.
Yes.
I just chose a path. I just chose to stay right when others took a left.
But what do you think of the because here's the other problem here, and it kind of goes with where you are, is officially, and this is why I tell people all the time, the NFL could never officially embrace or accept officially.
They ain't doing it.
They could never do
The
it.
NBA is a bigger powerhouse than the NBA would ever be.
Right, but what the NBA does, here's what I like about the NBA.
They pay.
They
They pay a lot of money.
Here's one of the other
To
things.
athletes.
Here's one of the other things I like about the NBA. The NFL, I always say, is too big to you hear about too big to fail in business. The NFL is too big to move. The NFL has to take all the heat before it moves because of what you just
We
said.
got so many more players to deal with too.
Well, but it's not the
Yes,
game.
yes,
No, but the game is so much bigger though. To me, it's not about the players because
Yeah,
players
but
are playing.
it makes the game
the
bigger.
game. What you're saying, but it's
They dealing
that
with 12
game.
dudes, man.
Well,
They
yeah.
dealing with 12 dudes on one team.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the issue.
That's why they can have a bubble.
True. But that doesn't change the issue and the quote unquote perceived moral issue that is involved with the subject. The NFL will never do it because. Now, mind you, I think what we're seeing in the loosening of some of the thresholds, if you would, which is negotiated by the Players Association in the NFL, you can be in the area, get the aroma.
Will never let that one ride.
Well, no. But apparently, you can catch the aroma of it now. Before
You get the aroma.
in other words, there's a threshold now because you can now have something in your system, but it has to reach a certain level. It don't reach this level.
If I walk in a team meeting and I smell the aroma, I'm gonna smell another aroma too. Right after that, I smell that aroma, it's gonna be another aroma.
But here's
On
what I
the
like
way out.
about the NBA
Yeah.
and the things that they do. If they see, and that's what Chris Paul and what they do, if they see something that they need to move on, it doesn't take an act of Congress. The NFL, unfortunately, too.
He's dealing with a bigger game.
I don't know, it's a bigger machine. I don't disagree,
machine.
but it shouldn't matter if science comes into play.
It ain't
If
no
the
science.
doctors,
You always science.
there is science. There is science. So going back to the example again, there is tons of examples. Epileptic kids having epileptic seizures every hour, every 15 minutes. Have you ever seen one of them?
And they rush to give him the fat one.
They don't give them the fat one. They give them the oil, or they give them a gummy.
The fat one.
Fat
It's
one
a
gummy.
relative of the fat one.
It is a relative. It's a cousin.
Okay.
A little lighter cousin, no smell.
Okay.
How about that? But because there is clear science of the therapeutic benefit, I support the player's notion when it comes to the fact that a lot of guys say it helps them take the edge off. It helps
They
them
would
take.
say that.
No, I'm just saying it's true. It's true. You see, they rang in
When
there for
did
me.
the edge come on?
Life, the game, the pressure of the game. Everybody ain't
Game
built
ain't
for.
no pressure.
No, for you.
The game ain't no
back
pressure.
up, dog.
A game.
Back up.
When did a game become pressure?
Because
Was the game pressure when you were a shorty?
it wasn't pressure
When
to
the
me.
game pressure
but,
when
but,
you was in high
but
school?
we got a new kid now. We just talked
Orange
about
County. Is it Orange County?
Orange County. Yeah.
Was it pressure then? Oh, hold on. What about Florida State? Was it pressure then?
But to me, it
So
wasn't
when
pressure.
did the pressure come?
That's what they're
I don't
saying.
like that. On by that.
But no,
It's a game.
it's
Ain't no
not. It's
pressure.
not a game. When people are threatening
single
you,
mother with 3 kids ain't
That's-
got no
that's-
job.
that's life.
Father gone ain't helping nothing. That's pressure.
but we have
to pay them bills.
But our kids are different.
There ain't
now.
no pressure.
No,
kids ain't
Do
different.
no,
We raise
they
them
are
different.
different.
The
Well,
kids
then
ain't
they're
different.
different
We
because,
raise them different.
because you talk about the dogs and cats.
We raised cats wanting the dog.
Right.
That's the difference.
But it doesn't change the fact
Ain't no
that we
pressure.
raised the cat.
There ain't no pressure. I don't believe this game is pressure. It's a game.
That's because
If it was pressure, the pressure is if I don't win this game or do my job, I ain't getting no check from this game. You still getting paid no matter what you do in that game. That means it ain't no pressure.
It may not have been pressure to you or pressure to me, but it is pressure.
I ain't buying it.
It is pressure.
It's
Because
a game.
you talk about all the time. You got to treat the kid different. Why you got to treat the kid different? Why can't you treat the kid like you used to
I
treat?
ain't got to treat the kid different.
Well,
I ain't treat no kids different.
well,
I promise you, I ain't treating no kid different.
we
And
just
nobody
have-
on that staff is treating a kid different.
That's
we
your
don't treat a
staff.
child
But
like a
you
child.
have said-
We're not their friends. We're not their homies. We're not their partners. We their coach. We ain't treating you different. We going back to old school.
Well, we're going.
The way we were treated.
Whoa, what did you say we doing?
Going back.
The
to
word
old school.
But you use the word BACK.
Back.
But where we are now, you have to go back. And my point simply is that this child that we laugh and joke about all the time is built differently because whether we raise cats or not, they're different. So where we are now, what I mean by pressure is that everybody see things.
I don't like that.
But
I don't like athletes sitting up there. Like even when they say, we went to war today, you ain't go to no war.
Right.
There was no life
Right.
and death.
Right.
No, somebody out there with a gun and somebody
Right.
with another gun, that's
Right.
war. Because somebody could actually die. You play the game. This ain't no war. I don't like that kind of stuff, man. We play around with this type of stuff. This is a darn childish game that some fool decided to pay us a lot of money, and I thank the Lord for him to play this game, to talk about this game, to execute this game. It's a game. That's what it is.
But it is a game technically. But let me ask you this question. So now, because of where we are today, we have people threatening to kill people because they threw an interception.
Because they betting on the game.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't matter
They
for that
don't
person.
because they
For that
betting on
person. For that person
They
who's
betting on the
for the
game.
person who's the recipient of that threat,
They-
who's got a family, who's got to worry about
There's
kids.
somebody with
That's
Twitter
real.
fingers.
People
Ain't
are
nobody
crazy
with
now.
There's somebody with Twitter fingers. Now, where that thing get real at is in soccer. Like World Cups and all that thing get real. It has been done.
Yes.
It is written. That's a whole
But
different game.
how do you know?
I know.
Not-
I've seen
not
them.
to get political.
They killed somebody for that. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They've killed somebody.
Numerous times in
Yes.
different countries, beheaded people, cutting legs.
Why you think? It was money on it.
But it wasn't pressure, though.
For who?
That's what I'm saying. You're saying it's not pressure.
No,
I'm
no pressure
saying
on the athletes.
It-
You think they knew they was gonna get killed?
No. But getting
Let me go ahead
threatened.
there, Mrs. Gold. I'm gonna die. They ain't think that.
If in the World Cup they do.
No. I don't think because they would have had mass security for those.
I guess the
persons.
point is, but see, the point becomes, how do you know? And you can't take anything
Well,
for
take
granted.
it.
I agree with you on it shouldn't be pressure, but it doesn't mean with how people are built today. And again, we didn't have people threatening us. You drop a pick in a game, they threaten to kill all your family. You might have had a different reaction
People
to
can't
it,
reach you like they can today. People could reach out to you.
but they can also reach
Nobody
you and
can
come
become
find you.
somebody instantaneously
Yeah.
with a click of a button.
Yeah. So that's the piece where, and again, if you're not built the right way, we had a couple guys talking earlier today, on the show and talking about, if you from that environment where that don't mean nothing to you, then you can deal with it. But if you're a baby, you're a cat that we have raised, and now someone says, man, I'm gonna kill you because you dropped the ball, it's a little different thing. And the point I'm making on the THC simply is this, is that, I understand when somebody, because see, the point comes now is, what is the outlet for these people? They can't go nowhere. Most people got to live like this, that playing now today, because of how easy it is to access you, find out where you are. Anybody playing pro ball, if you ain't behind somebody's gates, you're making a mistake.
Let me add this too.
Okay.
This might not go over well, but I'm gonna say it because I feel it. A lot of people could be an advocate when it becomes business. I don't know how many advocates that we had for this matter until it became business. This is business now. People are making money from this now.
Billions.
And it's a lot of people in jail that I felt like should be released.
Right.
Because they went in jail when this wasn't business.
Well, it wasn't their, no, that's a whole different conversation. It wasn't their business.
It was a business.
It wasn't their business.
True. But you got to have that same passion regardless what. Everybody has justification now because there's a business aspect to it, not just a medical business. It's funny how you could justify business, but you can't justify what's real.
When we come back, we're going to talk to our boss, Erica Nardini. She is the CEO of Barstool Sports.
And some pumps.
Yes, she is. She is tough as a rattlesnake. You're listening to 21st and Prime.
You know what it is, and for what it's worth, you can catch me on the best corner 21st. Prime time, shine time, always in the game, never ever on the sideline.
Ladies looking for that ultimate stocking stuffer. And I'm not just talking about the ladies, Deanna. I'm talking about everybody. I want to tell you about our friends at manscaped.com. They have created an array and a line of hygiene products. And the difference being, guys, listen, we need it. You know, you just can't have an afro going everywhere, whether that be out of your nose, out of your ears, or out of your parts unknown. But what you got with Manscaped, and by the way, we want you to log on to manscaped.com, that's manscaped.com, and check out some of the array of things that they have there. When you start talking about, there's a nose trimmer, you know, ear trimmer, whatever it is, just, you know, kind of clean that thing, just clean it all out. Clean it all out. And they've got and this is the thing, something tells me it feels like you need a boom, boom, boom. It's the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer. This thing is absolutely fantastic. They've got some great toners, that include aloe vera and hazel extract. So they want to make sure that you have what you need. Nail clippers. And the beauty of it is they got this nice little sweet kit. You know, remember the old, bag you used to have, your travel bag with your personals in it? Beautiful, soft leather. But I'm telling you right now, log on to manscaped.com. This is the ultimate and the perfect stocking stuffer, I'm telling you. Give them a call. Go online. Do whatever you got to do. But guys, we got to do better. And hey, ladies, if you need something, you're looking for something that'll help get you right, they'll do that as well. Log on to manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com. Put in the offer code PRIME, PRIME. Get yourself a 20% discount. That's right, a 20% discount. Compliments to this cat over here. Manscaped.com. Joining us now, our boss, CEO of Barstool Sports, also host of, and I want to talk about this, Token CEO. I just gotta get to.
That's not half of her accolades.
No, but it's just, but the main, she's our boss. Right. It started with the boss.
True.
And then after that, the most compelling piece of it is her podcast, which you can check out on Barstools. And so where the name came from.
Oh, because that's who people who hated Barstool Sports would say that Dave just hired me because I wore a skirt and I could talk to people and would make him look good. And then there was a particular writer who called me a token, kept calling me token in all these hit pieces. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to make that into a big t-shirt and content business. Thanks.
So now we have been up under scrutiny because we're athletes, and I could care less. I know Jamie could care less as well, because I always had a saying that my critics have critics. So why would I even listen to a critic? Well, my critics have critics. So how do you handle it?
That's a great question, Dion. I think it's similar where, look, what I really believe is that if you change yourself because of your critics, you're screwed, because then you don't really stand for what you stood for in the first place. Like, you're empty. And I think it's good to have critics like Wallow and Gilly. Like, Wallow has haters are your marketing team, which I think is one of the best slogans ever, because it's true. Like, if people are talking about you, it means you're doing something. I think that the vast majority of people don't want to be talked about. They want to be comfortable. They want to be liked. They want to be middle of the road. I don't find that in particular very interesting. Barstool Sports obviously doesn't find that interesting. And after a while, one of the things I always found with the critics, at least of me and of us, is that the critics don't actually really care. They've already made up their mind. They have a point of view. They have a position. They're not going to give you a second chance. They're not going to actually dig in to read something or spend any time. So I was like, well, if you're not going to put any effort into really understanding us, then why would I put effort into believing what you have to say?
But I think it stimulates your critics when they know you don't care. We just had this interesting conversation about you earlier, and You probably have heard this. You got that it. You got that thing that when you walk into a room or when you conversate with somebody, that you got it. And you got to up your game when you're dealing with you. You got to up your game when you're in the presence of yourself, when you're in the same room, or when you're talking business. You got to bring it. And that's intimidating to a lot of people. And a lot of people may find that alarming, but truly intimidating.
You think I'm intimidating?
For someone that's insecure, yes.
Yeah, I don't like stupid people.
See, that's what I mean. That's what we love. See, if you're confident and you have the fragrance that we have, confidence, you're not intimidating. But someone that's not confident, that's not secure, that's not stable, you could be intimidating.
Maybe. I don't know. I just want to get done what I want to get done. I want to help the people who I'm with. Like, I want to win. Like, I want to do something. Like, I just want to make something happen. And you're either like, you're with me, you're against me, or you're in my way. And it's like, that's kind of how I see the world.
But you're always moving. You're always progressing. You're always going forward. And some idle people, they can't handle that. That's distancing themselves from you. And that hurts. That's not cool to them.
Yeah. I hate that. I don't know. Like, I just hate the status quo. I don't want to be like everybody else. I never wanted to be like anybody else. I think what I feel so grateful for, I'm so grateful to be at Barstool Sports, because I don't think anybody here wants to fit in with anybody else. Like, I feel we have all these misfit toys. I mean, we have like super celebrities like Dion, and then we've got like, 400-pound guys from Florida who look like a video game character. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but it works.
Glenny Balls.
We got Glenny Balls. Like, when you can put Deion Sanders and Glenny Balls in the same sentence, and like, that's Barstool Sports. Like, that's a great thing. And I think life is just too short to want to try to be like everybody else. I remember when I was a kid, I would refuse to let my mother dress me. I just refused to let my mother dress me. And I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money. And my mother would save up and she would buy these outfits that matched, and they were perfect. And I was like, double bird mom, not wearing that outfit ever. Zero chance. Like, I alphaed the shit out of my mother. And she would get to school, I would get to school, and the teacher would call home and be like, have you seen what Erica's wearing? Like, is everything okay? Blah, blah, blah. And my mother, after a while, was started to get defensive on my behalf and was like, why should my kid look like every other kid? Let her be, whatever. And I think that's kind of how I feel about Barstool Sports, is that everybody should just dress like they want to dress, and wear who you are. And I think that's what's so refreshing, because I think people are often so silent or they try to be invisible somehow, or they want to just there's comfort in a status quo. And I hate that. If you're comfortable in being invisible in a pack, you're just not someone I want to be around.
And listening to your podcast, what amazes me, and what there's a commonality, I don't even think you may even think back to it, is that you're an alpha. You use that word. An alpha is an alpha, man or woman. Whether it be, I think about Constant Sports, and
Pitbull and Pumps.
Well, and think about, but when you look at, I was listening to your holiday show a few weeks back, and being thankful, what you're thankful for. And all the people you had on the show at the end of the day were alphas, and they don't know that you will cut somebody's throat with the blade of your skate. But you're still an alpha. And so that's where, as I listen to it and I see where you're going from that standpoint, whether coming from Yahoo or wherever, all the other places you've been, it's refreshing to see that, and I think you kind of tapped into creating an outlet, if you would, where women can, hey, we belong here, and here's a platform, and we're going to rally together to show, because we get stuff done.
No, I agree. I always think about, that's nice to say. First of all, Jamie, that was nice of you to say. But I always I think about Dion sometimes, and I think about Dion sitting in his dorm room in college in a football and Dion has it, exudes it, is like the source file of it. And I can think of Dion in college trying to be like, all right, I'm going to market the hell out of this position. Like, nobody markets this position. The quarterbacks are fancy. The receivers are fancy. They get a lot of attention. Defensive player, not so much. And he made, you made that position glamorous, but just by virtue of your own mind and your own energy. My thing is you can be yourself and be successful. You don't have to be like anybody else. You don't have to follow anybody else's rules. 2 is that you can be a woman and act like a man, and it's okay. And you can be a woman sometimes and you can be a total dude at another time. I try to amp it up because I'm you don't have to be, one of the things I find with people who are very corporate and women who are successful, who are corporate, they try to be very perfect. They don't swear. They wear the right thing. They're very demure, and I'm ugh, that's so boring. Why would why fight so hard to get here to be I have to be quiet? So I think it's just great I think anybody can do anything if you have enough talent and gut and just dedication and conviction to what you want to do. I was telling someone the other day, I know what it was. I had to go to my physical, and so I go to my physical, and I go to the doctor once a year for a physical. I never go to the doctor. And so she's like, hey, welcome back. I was like, yeah, what's up? And so she's like, obviously, she's like, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm fine. But she's like, you obviously haven't been traveling. And I was like, oh no, I've basically been traveling since, April. And she was like, well, where'd you go? And I was like, I spent the month of July and August in Texas. And she was like, why? And I was like, I single-mindedly was going to get Deion Sanders to come work for my company. And she was like, just be quiet and take your blood pressure. And I don't understand what you're talking about. But I think the thing is that I think if you have focus and energy and purpose to get something done, you can do it. And you can amaze yourself that it actually happens. And I think that's what life's about. To have a journey like that, there's nothing better.
It is, but when I look at you, when I look at Dave, even Dan, Constance, even Jamie, when you have that it and that thing that we have, it's lonely. It's sometimes lonely because it's not easy to talk to just anybody with your mind and your ideas, because you could be stopped at a stop sign or red light, but you're already around the corner.
Totally.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So sometimes it has to be lonely to a place of not just the comfort of another person, but just the mental aspect of it, because you're so far down the street.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it can be lonely. I think it can be a little punishing sometimes. I can't get my mind to shut off.
Right.
And then I know that I'm terrorizing people because I'm they call it at Barstool, they call it tarmac, Erica. If I'm sitting on a plane and I don't have anything to do all day, I just will fire out shit.
Here it comes.
So everyone's brace yourself. This is happening. But I think you're right, Dion, that it's lonely, because I think it's I think if you have a lot of imagination, you almost have something in the front of your brain is having the conversation, and then the back of your brain is wandering to 7,000 other places. I'm always like that. So I think you're like that too. And I think it can be, I get impatient with myself because I want to get more and more done. And there's
now we're going down the right street. How do you manage the expectation? Because how do you manage the expectation of others? Because we're already thinking, okay, I would have done that. I would have done that. You got to understand that was going to happen. How do you manage that? Because I need help with that. That's why I'm asking my boss. How do you manage that?
I think you have to I think a couple things. One, I think you have to set the bar and set the pace, and you got to be consistent at the bar and the pace. I think inconsistency is hard for people. And if you're consistently driving that, I think it's very easy to bring people along with you. I think you have to always look around the corner or be ready to take a sharp left turn and to communicate, hey, we're taking a sharp left and here's why. Like the communication is, I also think, a big part of the expectation. And then I think you need to surprise people. Like I find that I spend a lot of time on the business side here where everyone is like, well, it's going pretty well. Like things are going pretty well. Why aren't you satisfied with just how it's going? And I'm like, well, yeah, all right, great. Like, how do we be better? Like, now what are we going to do? And I think that can be frustrating to people. It's also frustrating to me where I hate the status quo. I'm like, I'm so happy we're doing great. If you're telling me we can't get better, then like, I might as well roll over and walk out the door because then there's nothing for me to do. So like the expectation, I think, has to be that we're always going to expect that we're going to get better and be better. And then, other times, Dion, I don't give a shit what people's expectations are. Like if I'm happy, if Dave's happy, if you're happy, if our crew is happy, then I'm great with that.
Awesome.
How does the boss lady turn it off? I know you skate. Is skating a respite for you? I know you run. Is running a respite for you? Where is the place where you grab your thought and your creativity and your next?
I am not great at shutting it off. I like to learn new things. So I can shut it off if I'm trying to learn something new. Like I just got off the ice right now. I just had a skating lesson. I am trying to work on like my inside edge, which like nobody cares about,
Well,
but it's very hard.
Black folks don't know what you're talking about. So bring us along. You say your inside edge. Black folks don't know what you're talking about. You lost us there.
So a hockey skate has an outside edge and an inside edge. The inside edge is like you're taking a right-hand turn on your right foot. So your foot is like, your balance is really off when you're doing it. It's scary. And you're on the ice and you can fall. And your body is off balance. But if you do it right, you can get a lot of speed. So it's like the more you're on your edges, the faster you are. I think that's a great metaphor for life. Like I'm like, get on the edge. Like, let's just get on the edge and get comfortable on the edge. But I like working the way I can shut it off is to put myself to learning something new where I can't have my phone on me. Like that's my rule for myself. So like, I don't really like running. I don't like running. Running, I just do because I was like, I need to run a half marathon to check the box. I don't care about running. But like this morning, I played squash. I got up at 7 a.m. and I played this like 20-year-old in squash. I've never played squash before. Like, I don't even know squash. I don't have any of the equipment. I don't care. But I was like, all right, great. I'm just going to try to beat this 20-year-old dude. Like, and that's a break. So I think like for me, it's
challenges. It's
other
called
things
challenges.
that have nothing to do with what I'm doing.
Challenges. That's what it's called. You like challenges.
Yes.
Yes.
I like challenges.
I can identify with that 100%.
Yeah.
My thing is, perceptionally, I think people see work is not work to me.
Yeah.
That has always kind of been the
Because
problem.
you're doing
even
what you
with
wanna do,
Yeah,
though.
right. But people can't understand that.
Yeah, 'cause
they
you're
can't
doing what you wanna
understand that you're sitting there. For example,
80% of America is not doing what they want to do. That's
right,
why it's work.
right. But I could be working on a proposal, a project, this, that, and the other, and it's what I want to do. Somebody who's looking at Facebook is saying, "Well, why are you working?" Well, what's the difference between you looking at Facebook and me doing what I want to do?
Yeah.
How, do you find yourself sometime in relationships, and we're in relationships, where you have to kind of and I use the word not be interested in work when you got 1,000 things going on in your mind, but yet you're still trying to be out and entertaining?
Yeah, I struggle with that. I think Vince McMahon always says this, and I really love when he says it. So Vince McMahon is in his late 70s, he still works 7 days a week. And he's like, it's not work. This is my life. Like, I love what I've built. Like, it's not work, it's fun. And I feel the same way. And I think we're so lucky to feel like that. I just think we're so lucky to feel like that. Like, I didn't always feel that way in my career. I've always loved to work, but I had never, it took me really till Barstool, or the couple startups before Barstool, where it was like I was surrounded with people who felt the same way. But I do think it's hard, Jamie, where, you know, like I struggle. Like, I was talking to a girlfriend yesterday, and it's like, I struggle at a cocktail party because I'm like impatient. I don't really want to sit around.
No purpose. It's no purpose.
Yeah. I'm not learning anything. I'm not challenged.
Yeah.
I'm like, I had this one party where I was like, my thought bubble came out of my mouth, where I just was like, I'm bored in the middle of this conversation. And I was, so, which was bad. But anyways, so I'm just not good in idle things. I know I have to do them, and I know I need to get better at them, but I try to limit that so that I don't get like antsy.
Erica, CEO of Barstool Sports, visionary for Token CEO podcast. Number one, we love you. We appreciate
I love you guys right back.
That you gave us to kind of speak more freely than we've ever had in any of our careers before.
Ever.
And we just appreciate you joining us, and we appreciate the example that you're setting as well.
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate you, baby. We appreciate
All
you,
right,
boss
love
lady.
you guys.
Love you too.
Yeah, this for prime time.
Holiday time. Let me tell you something, ladies. You need to do this favor for your man. Our friends at Roback.com, check them out. That's RHOBACK.com. They make some of the best apparel. You're talking about Q-zips. You're talking about pullovers. You're talking about hats. What I love about the hats, they got like Velcro in the back of the hats. I ain't never seen anything like this. I'm just telling you right now. But log on to Roback.com and get yourself, number one, Primes 20. This is the holiday gift that Dion has for you. 20% off. Put in the offer code PRIME. That's right. Put in the offer code PRIME. You've been watching me on the air, and you'll see some of the shows, and you'll see some of the shirts that we have. I got my Barstool's gear on today, but many of the times I'm also wearing my Roback tees. And I got to tell you, man, these shirts are absolutely amazing. Last week, I think I had on a Q-zip, man. Smooth. I mean, if you want to go commando, you ain't got to wear nothing underneath it. You can go underneath, so, in case you got a little stop you got to make. In case you got a little stop you got to make, you don't have to put a whole lot on, throw some sweats on, put the Q-zip on, bam! And there you are. Anyway, let me tell you, log on to Roback.com. That's RHOBACK.com. Put in the offer code PRIME. That's PRIME. Get yourself, what's that, Dion? 20% off. You should 20% off. That's right. That comes from Dion right there. And I'm telling you, whether it be vests, tees, Q-zips, polos, you name it. It's the holiday season. Your man's been wearing that old golf shirt with the rusted up collars all wrinkled up. Give him the gift that keeps on giving. That's a Roback collar. That's RHOBACK.com. Now it's time to take a blast from the past.
How you doing, my brother?
Doing great, man, but technology hates me.
Well, it hates me too, so you're not by yourself. Usually my kids do this kind of stuff for me, man.
Stop it. I know both of y'all. We were all about the same age, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I don't know nothing about no technology.
But how about this? As great as we all are in our given professions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great. Made it to the league. You made it to the league. You made it to the league. I made it to the league. And you feel so bad.
Well, but that's part of the reason for the conversation today is about the topic being reinventing ourselves. And so here you, Kid and Play, Chris Reid joining us. You guys established something I was watching the other day. Will Smith had an interview that he did with, and I'm trying to think of the woman who was on the show, the Fresh Prince. And
you talking about the first mother.
The first mother. and just
They
the
got
whole.
the.
And she never did anything. When that situation happened, she never did. She was never able to reinvent herself.
Well, it was a couple of Lionels too on the Jefferson.
Well, yeah, they were.
But hold up.
Yeah.
But hold up. But why you? I mean, Jamie, what was your opinion on that? Like, why? Because everybody can have an opinion on that. Why she's saying why she didn't work again after that?
Yeah. Well, she's saying she didn't work again because he gave the reputation that she was hard to work with.
Or that was implied, like you can't get along with Will Smith. Like who can you work with?
First of all, when she first started, Will wasn't Will
Right.
at the time. So whatever she did, she did. I don't think he's not the type of guy that would go and lie on another person about character.
But listen to this. You know what's similar? And I thought about this the other day. And shout out to my ring light, making me look healthy today. There's a similar story. Remember Family Matters?
Yep.
With Jaleel White, Urkel. The mother on that show had a problem with him when he started blowing up. It was, you know what I mean? Come on, there's so many parallels between sports and entertainment.
That's true.
It's about talent. It's about execution. It's about ability. But sometimes it's about people's feelings.
True.
So I think, you know what I mean? If you, and to your point, Prime, I was so surprised, but I was very, I felt great. Cause I'm in that business. So I heard about that with the Will Smith and the moms and all that. And guess what? They didn't just move her out. They moved her out and they brought in like a light-skinned mom. They're like, man, we don't. They're like, Will Smith is so big of a star that they'll accept a mother that looks, you know what I mean? Like, let's get a light-skinned mom. You know what I'm saying? Right? And to that point, like, it's not always about it's people's feelings get involved. And but I like the fact that even after all this time, he don't got to do that.
Right.
She can do stuff moving on.
We were talking at the point being reinventing ourselves. We have careers, You are prime time, but you were prime time. Prime time was a different prime time to this prime time. Chris, you go from you guys being one of the top acts in the game, and now Chris does different things. Chris does both voice work. He's done movies. What was that like for you?
I posted something the other day. It was like an old picture of me and Play, like when we was first starting out. And I put it on Facebook and Twitter, and it was something that hit me last night. I probably had a few, but sometimes that's when you're at your most, that fine line between brilliance and ignorance.
Yeah.
I was on that line, right? So I thought I was on the brilliant side. And one of the things I said, I saw an old picture and I posted us like when we were really, really young. And the caption I put on it was, remember how it was when we thought we had nothing? Remember how it was when we thought we had nothing?
Yeah.
We didn't realize how rich we were.
That's great. That's a great word.
You know what I'm saying? D, come on, Prime.
Yeah.
I know you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You took me there. You took me right there.
I mean, I just felt it in a moment. And sometimes, like I said, you can go the wrong way now. I've tweeted a few things that I was like, man, what a dude, take it back. But that one I thought came from a real pure place because, and especially now that we get to look back at all of this, like, man, the most fun we had was when we had nothing. When all we had was dreams.
I
what we
don't know
gonna
about
do.
that one now. I was right with you to the end. I had a lot of fun with stuff. I had a lot of fun with stuff. I had a lot of fun with the G.I. Joe and the Batman and the Tycho Nightglow race car set and the big wheel. I had a lot of fun with that. But I had a lot of fun in that yacht in Puerto Rico with a cook and a chef.
Yo, first of all, couple things.
I was right with you.
And then I went left.
Then you
I
went
know.
left.
You stayed right. You stayed there. But I was right with you
But
today.
just clear. But when you post it, just clip it before I went left.
I got you.
No.
I got you.
We keep it in. Before we let you go, man,
Wait.
appreciate it. What you doing now? Let everybody know what you're doing. We appreciate you joining
This
us.
is a legend.
You
man.
know
He's a
what?
legend. There's
We
no
got-
question.
First of all, y'all ain't getting off the hook. I need. I'll trade you some Kid and Blaze merch for some of that Barstool
Got
stuff
you.
y'all rocking
Done.
with. Okay,
Done deal. We got
Send
you.
it on. Me and Jamie go way back. We go back to the Bruce Pickens smoking Black and Miles all day in the
Oh,
strip
Lord.
club days. So don't play with me.
That's right.
But anytime y'all want to rock, next time get me and Play on, man. He'd love to.
Hey,
Love to
you
rap
know what,
for y'all.
man? I'm
He
gonna
don't
tell
know. He don't know nothing about sports.
That's
but
good
he'll
though.
talk.
Let me tell you.
It's about life now.
Let me tell you
That's
about
where
what
we
you
are.
just said that I love. It's been a multitude. I don't know how many years that you and Play been together. And I know there's been ups and downs, ins and outs, because it's been with everybody. Me and the big fella been together for over 30. I admire the relationship more than anything, that you still have it. And what you said before you got off this jack right now, hey man, when you come on next time, get me and my boy on. See, that right there, man, is what it's all about, my brother. That's why we love you. That's why we love you. You've been the same cat for years,
Wait,
man.
you know what it is? That's dude. That's my boy.
Right.
Like I wouldn't be here without him.
Yeah, but
Ups,
sometimes
downs,
people
ins
forget.
and outs. Like isn't that what life is about?
But sometimes people forget, man. Sometimes we forget when we on this seesaw of
Sometimes
life.
people forget. Sometimes people forget. But I'll tell you about Kid and Play. One of the things that makes Kid and Play, I think, endure over all this time is that we were so different when we got together, and we helped one another.
That's right.
You know, he wasn't about education. He was about the streets. But I needed to know about the streets, so he taught me about the streets, and I taught him about education and uplifting himself where he needed to be. That's a team.
Yes.
You know, we ain't gotta be alike.
Right.
We don't have to be alike.
See,
Come
now,
on now,
that's
y'all
it.
are athletes.
That's it.
We have to work together.
We're totally
When
different.
you weak, I'm strong. When I'm strong, you weak.
We're totally
Bang.
opposite. I love what you said because we're totally opposite. You 100%
Stop it.
correct. No,
You know,
look,
Jamie, look at Jamie. Jamie be in them books. Jamie was in them books. You could tell. And Prime. Prime running 40s with no shoes on. That's how the story goes now.
this is the last
Apparently
thing
you
I'm gonna
ran the
say
40
about
with
this.
no shoes on.
this is the last thing I'm gonna say
You
about
ran the
this.
40 with Crocs on. That's how the story goes now.
Gators. But what I love about you guys and you and Play, your music, and it's a testament to what we are right now in our culture. When you guys were on stage and when your song came on, we smiled. And you made us feel good about life, dog. You made us feel good about everything, and we had joy listening. I don't want to listen to nothing and be ready to go shoot.
I said joy.
Yeah. Ready to go shoot somebody, ready to go slap somebody, ready to go stab somebody.
Oh, what we gonna do? We gonna, and don't get me, you know what I mean? We gonna get on a whole nother thing. But what I say is when people ask me about the music, I say, you know what? It's different because the times were different. But I think as an artist, as an athlete, especially today, as an athlete, when you're on so many different platforms, you have to be yourself. People can tell.
That's right.
People can tell when you're not being yourself. You wouldn't take if Kid and Play made a record go, we gonna shoot everybody. You be like, nah.
Oh, you hit that note then, didn't you?
He did.
You hit that note then, dog. You
He's
still got
talented.
that. No, you still got that thing, dog. You still got that thing.
Blah, 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 everybody. We don't do that record. We was the rap group. If you saw us at an ATM, you wouldn't be scared.
Right.
We just want to change.
That's right.
You know, man, we was cool like that. And guess what? All our homeboys back then were all the hardcore rappers, all the NWAs and all the Ice Cubes and all that, and the Lukes, and you know, we all got together at the end because we realized look, we're better together.
That's
you
right.
do this, you do that. You need a Kid and Play. You need a Will Smith, but you need an NWA. You need a Public Enemy. Every year back in the 90s, Chuck D call up Kid and Play, because they always had the biggest tour, 89, 90, 91. You know all them years.
Right.
You know Chuck D call you up, hey, Kid and Play, we want to come to say, we need you on to say, I'm going to can I pray? And we like, all right, Chuck.
Well, we
Chuck D call you, right?
Hey.
I'm on the count of say, I'm on the count of say. I was like, all right, we're going to be there. We're going to be there. But we did it together. You know, I've toured with NWA. I've toured with Ghetto Boys. I've toured, you know what I mean? Like we're all friends. Like it's a community, just like the athletic community. I think that's where there's always been that bond between sports and athletics and entertainment, because there's so many similar things. You know, you got to depend on people, and you got to trust people that maybe don't do exactly what you do.
That's right.
But what you do together, you do well, and you do great, and you make history. So
Amen,
that's
man.
all it was. You know
I appreciate
what I mean?
you, boss.
And the fact that, like to your point, Prime and Jamie, the fact that it still resonates with people. Look where we at right now. We in a pandemic. Don't you know people rely on those old movies of ours? All the house parties. They play House Party 1, 2, 3. Bang, bang, bang. Because it makes people feel good. They play our music and videos because it makes people feel good. And it reminds them of happier times. And so if we can be there for that, that's fine. Look, man, come on now. Come on. They show all y'all old highlights all the time to make people feel good about today, because today is we're in a tough time today.
Amen.
Chris Reid, we appreciate you joining us, my friend, and as always, man.
I'm not going nowhere, Jamie.
I know you're not going anywhere, but we got to go. Appreciate you, my brother.
That's a good brother
He's a
right
good
there,
brother.
man.
You know what's
Appreciate
up.
you, Paul. It's a good brother right there, man.
Dion, you know we love our Black Rifle coffee. And I got to tell you, this would be a great holiday gift. When you start talking about just flavorful, wonderful coffee over the holidays, give the gift that keeps on giving. That gift would be Black Rifle coffee. Since 2014, Evan Hafer and Matt Best, they have given away over 45,000 pounds of coffee and over 1 million cups of coffee to soldiers, because they are veterans and they recognize that our veterans are very important, and we really appreciate them, especially when you consider about first responders and the work that they're doing. Black Rifle Coffee's been donating coffee, and we've got a very special offer for you, a holiday offer for you. Log on to blackriflecoffee.com. Use the offer code PRIMETIME. And we're going to give you, what's that deal? 20%. That's right, 20% discount. This coffee is absolutely amazing. It's flavorful, it's tasty, and they got some good swag to go with it too. And by the way, join the coffee club. That's right, the Black Rifle Coffee Club. Sign up today, pick your favorite coffee, roast, or whatever you want. They even have t-shirts and other kinds of things as well. So what we want you to do for this holiday is log on to blackriflecoffee.com, put in the offer code PRIMETIME, that's PRIMETIME, and we're gonna give you 20% off. Well, I'm not, Dion is. But that's right there for you. Check them out at blackrifle.com.
One of a kind, prime time is the GOAT.
Welcome back, 21st in Prime. Prime, I want to talk about the running back position. We were talking earlier about that running back 21. He's wearing your number for the Cowboys. What's his name again?
You need to stop.
It's just a joke. I'm just kidding around. Of course, it's Ezekiel Jackson. And
You
so,
need to stop.
well, he's playing like Ezekiel Jackson right now.
Ezekiel's still a dog.
He is a dog.
Yeah.
He's just coughing it up a little bit. Sorry about that. Cowboy fans, they keep telling me about that. But here's what, you've said something over the weeks, and we talked about, you had your GOAT team, if you would, and it was just more key positions that you felt a team had to have. Mm-hmm. And you said this several times about, as running backs go, that is not one of the central pieces of something you feel on your team you have to have.
Because it's not a singular feat anymore.
I'll tell
Once
Emmett.
upon a time,
Hey,
there was
Emmett.
a Walter Payton that told her that thing. OJ, the OJ that we remember, not the OJ they remember.
I told Barry you said
Earl
hello.
Campbell, Barry Sanders, Emmett.
Ezekiel Elliott.
You're talking about, darn.
Tons of great players.
Tons of great
Tons
players.
of
My
great
mind is
running
going
backs.
blank, and I got to have Eric Dickerson.
Oh, ED,
I
of course.
I got to
Yes.
mention Eric Dickerson.
His
Marshall
excellency.
Faulk,
Yes.
TD, so many.
Yes.
These guys didn't need help. They were the single back. They didn't need help. They didn't split time. Right now, you have backs by committee oftentimes. It's not just one guy toting mail. You have several backs.
But I guess, let me ask this question, because there's a couple questions here. So are we saying they stopped making Marshall Faulks and Eric Dickersons, that they stopped making them? They're still making
the
them.
offenses have changed.
So the game
predicates
is
that.
what's doing that
Yes,
to the
now
running
you're in a
backs.
spread offense. Okay. Now the back is sitting beside the quarterback. Very rarely they run pistols. They're behind the quarterback. If you got a guy in a pistol, he's about 8 yards back.
He gonna
9
get
yards
caught.
back. By the time he get to the line of scrimmage, he got to gain 10 yards out the backfield to get one.
But that end gonna see him before he gets there.
Exactly. So it's a different game. So it's a different expectation.
So the
of
game
back.
is
The game is a
minimizing.
passing game now. First,
Right.
it's not run first.
But again, but at the same time, like Ezekiel Elliott, who, he is a dog.
Right.
He there are certain running backs still today that are of the Marshall Faulk, if you would, in the latest incarnation.
Linemen are pass blocking. There's only a couple colleges like Wisconsin and I don't know who else that's run first, pass later. Everybody else in college football is pretty much pass. Run just to keep you honest, but we're going to throw the darn football. That's who they are. Even they're asking the quarterbacks to run. So now the quarterbacks, the running backs' carries are being split and being taken away from the quarterback. We just watched the game. The quarterback had, 17 carries or something crazy like that? Like, come on, man.
Speaking of quarterbacks, and we're going to close this thing out. And I never thought, I've been in this game, around this game 30-something years. I never thought we'd come to a point where the quarterback position is a hard position to fill. I'm sorry. Let me back up how I said that. The quarterback position is full. If Eli Manning wanted a job, he couldn't find a job. Next year, they're going to have to make a decision on the GOAT and Tom Brady because somebody else. I mean, it's in years past we've had. It's not that all of these quarterbacks are at a high level. It's either we got a guy or we're bringing a young guy in. And I never expected.
I think that's good for our game. That's good for our game. We got it's always a changing of arms and a changing of the guard. Usually when a Peyton Manning goes away, you see this grown man in Kansas City coming to play that you say, wow, makes you forget instantly. So if a guy like Tom may be going away, which I think Tom has several more years.
But the circumstance, that's my point is.
Pretty much, you could have 4 to 5 first-round caliber quarterbacks that's coming in the draft
Again.
this year.
Again.
Yes.
Because to me,
But
like I
you
said,
have room in the NFL to get rid of some as well that's on their way out.
No, that's the thing. No, for the first time, in my opinion, we're pushing quarterbacks out of it. 6 years ago, Eli Manning would have been able to go somewhere else and still play if he wanted to. I'm not saying he did want to.
That has not just nothing to do with quarterbacks, Jamie. It has something to do with winning. You got to understand, nowadays, a coach could get terminated in 2 years, man. He could be out of there. Once upon a time, a coach was given 3 or 4 years at least to turn his program around, college or pro. It ain't like that no more, man. You get fired in a year. Hadn't that been done a couple years ago in Denver?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could get fired instantly.
Arizona got rid of their guy pretty quick.
Yes. So the game has changed. Not just the positions. The game has changed.
I never imagined a time where if some legend had a few things left in, because see, to me, again,
Money is a factor too, my brother.
Yeah.
Money is a factor too, because usually that legend is making a lot of money. I'd rather go and push him out the door and get this guy on sale right here. That's what they're thinking. It's not right, but that's what they're thinking.
That's going to do it for this edition of 21st Prime. We want to thank Erica Nardini, who, by the way, check out her podcast. The podcast is Token CEO. That's Token CEO. Catch her there. And then also we want to thank Chris Reid. Just, I enjoyed the blast from the past because it takes your mind back.
He's a legend.
Yeah, and so when you think about, like I said, just going back to that time, my son calls it, and it sounds crazy, but it's true. He says, Dad, that was in the 1900s. Mm-hmm. But in truth, it was in the 1900s. And going back to the conversation, whether it be about the marijuana and the this, that, and the other,
So when you get home, he's going to bring you back. He can sit up there with a fat one, and I'm just like, see? No,
and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send him to Uncle Dion.
Oh, no. He's going to say, it's science, Dad. It makes me feel better.
Swipe up at 21st and Prime. Remember also, this is holiday season, so we've got some great discounts, some great swag right there, Barstool stuff. Check out all those things. We appreciate you joining us right here on 21st and Prime.
You know what it is, and for what it's worth, you can catch me on the best corner 21st.